What's up, guys? Welcome to A Vibe Call West Radio. Today we have a very, very special guest, Tiana Kocher. How are you today?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day.
It's like literally 77 and sunny in LA,
Yeah.
so it's
Not hot. It's nice. It's nice to go out again.
yeah. Take that, the rest of the country. It's a little bit, especially after the kind of the summer we had where it was like a little rainy. We just had like a storm.
Yeah.
So thank you on this beautiful day for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
I also want to say thank you so much for not only being a part of the Why Live for Later track, but really bringing it to life with your vocals.
Of
It's
course.
incredible.
Go stream it.
Yeah, please go stream it. We're gonna
Go
perform.
stream.
We want to perform it, so go stream it. It was a really great experience
Yeah,
being with
thank
you
you
in the
for having me.
studio,
Mhm.
of course. And I know that you just dropped your EP,
I did.
Up to You,
Yeah.
on August 25th.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. You know, as a fellow artist, I always want to know in that moment, like, is it more cathartic? Is it more like, do you find more relief in like writing the songs or releasing a project?
Well, whenever this is only the second project I've ever released, and I'm not like a project mode kind of gal. Like when I'm writing just to write, and I'm not writing with a project in mind. So a lot of these songs like have just been written over like the past 3 years. Actually, one of the songs, Love You More, was written back in 2017. So it just made sense to put all these songs together and to release it. And that's also what I did with my first EP. It's just that I was just writing these songs not exactly for a project, just like to write. So I mean, I guess you could say like just to write.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think especially like when you're a creator and you're just like constantly creating, it's nice to bundle them together.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be this like concept kind of
Right.
it's
Like
more-
I'm not like, I don't know, because sometimes I'm the kind of person where I get overwhelmed very easily. And when I get overwhelmed, I feel like I'm not giving something my all, and I get anxious and I get stressed. And so I obviously want to enjoy the process and have fun doing it. So I don't think about projects. Like I'm just like, writing's supposed to be fun, making music is supposed to be fun. So I'm just like writing to write.
Yeah, I think it's probably like also just like freeing to like not have
Yeah.
not have the constraints of like, I need X amount of tracks, I need to have this type
Exactly.
of song, this type of song.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can just like kind of, and then if they do come together in this beautiful collage, it's a win.
Exactly.
So it's amazing. You have so many incredible songs that we're gonna
Thank
go
you.
over. I do love the tidbit. You beat me to it that Love You More is also your mom's favorite song.
Mhm.
So that's why you released it.
It is, yeah. She
Yeah.
was like,
What's your
you
mom's
need to
name?
release it. Katrina.
Shout out Katrina. Your daughter's very talented. I hope you see this. And yeah, so we have our song, we have your EP to celebrate. There's so
Yes,
much
so much
things to do,
so
but
much to celebrate.
I also want to bring you on the show to, you know, just get to know you even more, give you a platform. So I'm going to kind of do a breakdown
Mhm.
of how the show is going to go for returning listeners and new listeners. So before the show, I asked Tiana what her favorite album was of all time. It is 2020 Deluxe Version by Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
So what I did is I put all of those into a tournament bracket, Elite 8. I seeded those songs based on total number of streams on Spotify. The way that they progress is based off of Tiana's opinion. Tiana, are you ready to find out what the best song in 2020 is?
Yeah.
So why this album really quick?
I love Timbaland.
Mm-hmm.
He's someone that I would love to work with.
He's such a good producer.
And I don't know, I just always thought that there was something special when Justin Timberlake and Timbaland made things together. And their earlier projects, I think I was too young to truly appreciate it. But when this came out, you know, I was like early teens, and I was like I had like a deeper understanding of music too. And so I love this project. I have it in vinyl. I listen to it all the time.
That's the true sign. You have it on vinyl.
Mhm.
You know, I actually saw that like vinyls have surpassed CDs in total sales now, which makes sense as a novelty. And it's like, you know, the CD is great, but the vinyl, if you're getting something tangible, like the vinyl, I feel like is cooler. And I always ask, like, you know, you're in LA and you walk into an elevator and Justin Timberlake's there.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to him about this album? Like, what would you express?
That's tough. I feel like there's a lot that I would say. I mean, I obviously want to act cool.
You have to.
And not be like, I'm a super fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta be like, oh, like, hey man, like, love this. But I would definitely be like, I'd love to work with you.
Of course.
That's what I would say. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I do know he's releasing more stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
He did that track with Nelly and Timbaland that like they just released, like Nelly Furtado.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean,
you gotta act cool. Yeah, it's always just fun.
Act cool. Gotta act compromise. I mean, eventually you want to be on their level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you have to kind of look at these people, I guess you could say, as like peers, and like, you know what I mean? Like
100%.
I don't know. It's so hard to explain, but
yeah, I think it's like, you know, especially if you want to get there, you have to imagine what it feels like. You know, act like you've been there before.
Exactly.
That's a big one. So yeah, I always just kind of have to ask that, because it's the amazing part about the bracket and like, you know, every person's relationship with an album is that it brings out a memory. And you know, it's doing the interview for me. You know, you're already saying how big of a fan of Justin Timberlake you are on Timbaland. So awesome. So we're now gonna go to the board and we're gonna do the first matchup. Mirrors versus Let the Groove Get In. Which song and why?
Let the Groove Get In for sure.
Ooh, big upset. All right, we got a Cinderella story coming right now. So why does that song speak more to you than Mirrors?
I grew up dancing, and you can dance to it. You know, I mean, Mirrors is a great record, but Let the Groove Get In, there's something about it that just makes me feel good. And I don't think a lot of records can make you feel good, if you know what I mean.
Like an instant, like just mood enhancer.
Yeah.
And like that, I mean, like that's what, you know, music is supposed to transfer an emotion, and if it lifts up your mood, that's like the best emotion you can transfer. So I love that it's an upset, and also I know that you do have that background in dance, and I know that it makes sense why you would like that song. Awesome. So now we have the 1 through 8. 8's moving on. Let the Groove Get In. Let's now go to matchup number 2. I remember this song when I was growing up a lot. Suit and Tie versus Don't Hold the Wall.
Suit and Tie.
All right, break it down for me. Why do you think that's a stronger song, and why do you like it more?
I think lyrically, I prefer Suit and Tie.
So different than that one's like an emotion. This one's like.
Yeah.
And then so break down what lyrically do you like about it?
There's just something about the melodies of that song and like the top line that they did that's just so good, so catchy, so good. I mean, it was a single. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it makes sense. So yeah,
that makes sense. So then Suit and Tie. So we didn't get the upset on that one, and so we had Suit and Tie. Moving on. So now you guys have seen. I'm letting her do the decisions there. I'm pretty much agreeing. I agree with her choices on this, and I kind of now want to transition the interview to more of just like some questions that I just have generally about you, because you've been making music for a long time. You have very incredible accolades, people you worked with. So, but I really want to focus on you. So, again, you see me looking at my notes. I promise it's because I care.
You're good.
All right. So one quote I love from you was how, because the Philippines is an archipelago, your music has come to embody the concept of individuality and diversity for each one of your songs. I also know that you've studied in London and now reside full-time in LA. So I want to ask, how has each place you live impacted the music you make? Meaning, do you find pieces of Manila, London, and LA respectively in your music?
100%.
Could you let me know what songs and like in which ways?
Well, I think when it comes to melodies, being able to understand and somewhat speak 3 languages makes it very different for me when it comes to like top lining, because I'll have like, I can move my mouth a certain kind of way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. What 3 languages really quick?
English is my first language, Tagalog, and I can understand Spanish.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry, keep going. I just want to know.
And because the Philippines was conquered by Spain, so a lot of Spaniards moved to the Philippines. My grandma is Spanish, and so a lot of my family, they speak Spanish. I don't. I'm not like the best. I used to be able to. I was definitely better when I was taking it in high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you could say I'm very like phonetically like different. I don't know. if that makes any
No, I know
sense.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just there's different like ranges and like different like pockets that you
Yes.
can probably find with the
Yes.
syllables and yeah.
Yes. So that plays a big part, and because in the Philippines, and I guess you could say like in Spain too, there's many different dialects, there's many different languages and influences from different cultures and everything, and I think that reflects too in my music, because I don't like to work with just one producer. You know, I want each song to bring a different feeling and to have a different sound and to just sound different than each other, because I wouldn't want like, I know people like working with the same producer, and I get it, it makes sense, like this project, you know, but for me personally, I think because I have lived in different places and I have experienced different things in life, that I just kind of want that to translate into my music.
Mm-hmm.
So I like working with different producers, and a lot of the producers that I work with are like, one of them's like French and he's from France, and like it's like kind of all over. So I like bringing different sounds into my music.
Of course. Yeah, I feel like also like if you have like a palette of colors and like give different colors, the painting, the song will be different, and like you know, it just that's really,
and then you can mix two colors and make something different.
Exactly. And just so I'm actually the same way. I love to have like multiple producers. I have 2 in-house ones and a couple online that I love to use, so that makes sense. Do you think that, so it seems to me less like lyric, it's like sonically you're saying that like you
sonically
that makes a lot of sense. And that's awesome. It rings true to how I feel as well. And kind of going back to your roots a little bit, it's well known that you come from an artistic and musically centric family, which I would imagine has empowered you to be creative, which is amazing. Is it true, though, that one of the moments that made you want to become a singer was watching Christina Aguilera's Back to Basics tour
100%.
and Stephanie J. Block's performance in Wicked?
Yep.
So what about those performances spoke to you back then, and what have you taken from them for now?
Okay, I was very young. I think I was like 7 and 8 when I watched them. I don't remember much from my childhood. There's only a few things that I remember, and most of the things that I remember, it normally is tied with art, which is like, I knew I was gonna do this for the rest of my life, you know. So the Back to Basics tour was the first first concert I ever watched, and I want to say I was 7. And my mom took me with her, and I just was floored, because the whole tour started with Ain't No Other Man, you know, like she just like was like rising up from like nothing, and it was just like her, and I was like
a spectacle.
Oh my gosh, like, oh my goodness, I was floored. Like, I was like, and she was pregnant that tour.
That's badass.
It's badass. And I was just like, I remember watching it, and I mean, like, as a 7-year-old, I feel like you're not supposed to like feel like, you know, certain things, but like I left feeling so inspired.
Wow.
And I remember that because, you know, she just had like the lights, the dancers, the sets, and the outfit changes. And the Back to Basics album was also just so versatile. Like, she had a lot of like the 40s, 50s influences, like the wartime, like, you know, like that era, like Candyman. I don't know if you know that record,
head, but I know
like they had like that war chant, like the Tarzan engine was swinging on a vine. Like, it was very like, what is that term? Is it swing? I don't know, but it's very.
I know, but I'm imagining the era. I can imagine.
It's like, very like 40s, 50s, and I was just like, this is insane. I love it. Also, for some weird reason, one of my favorite movies as a kid was Pearl Harbor, so that might be why I was like,
it's like patriotic.
she's killing it. But I just remember loving it just because of how versatile she was, like, and that tour, because she had songs like Candyman and then Ain't No Other Man and Hurt, which was more like a ballad, and it was very like raw and vulnerable, and just her storytelling throughout the whole thing. So that really inspired me. Definitely made me want to do what she was doing, you know, performing albums around the world and selling out, you know, and stuff like that. And then the following year, I went to New York. I consider this my first time because it's the first time I remember, because I was much younger, my first time. And we were visiting my sister because she lived in New York at the time. And the whole family, we went to go see Wicked. And prior to that, because I think my mom just knew I was always going to be like an active child singing all the time. She had already put me in like musical theater camps and stuff like that as a kid. So singing, dancing, acting growing up already. But this was like the first musical that I remember watching, which was Wicked. I've seen it like 19 times.
It's so good.
Since. It's great. I love Wicked. Any chance I get to see it, I'll see it. Like I've seen it in 4 countries, like 5 cities. Like I love Wicked. But there was something about Stephanie J. Block's performance that just really like inspired me. And I think what it was too was her acting through a song, which I feel like a lot of, you don't cancel me, but a lot of like the modern day musical theater actors, like when they sing, I feel like some of them forget that they're still supposed to be acting.
Yeah.
Because that's like the climax of the character. Do you know what I mean? Is when they're acting through the song. And that's one of the things that I did love about Stephanie J. Block was her like consistency throughout the musical. Yeah.
Wow.
She's great. She's like one of my idols. I actually saw her last month. Was it last month or 2 months ago? July. It's September. I keep forgetting.
It's barely September.
Yeah. She's in the tour of Into the Woods. And they had a stop here in LA. And so I went to go see it, and I like DM'd her and I was like, hey, like, you don't know me, but just wanted to say like thank you, because I like literally I don't think I would be here if I never watched those 2 performances, because I wouldn't be that inspired, you know what I mean? Like I'd just be like, okay, like I probably would have gone did the whole college thing, done like a regular job,
traditional,
yeah, done, and she was like, she actually responded and she was like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, thank you, like this is like why I do what I do. And I was like,
shout out Stephanie.
So cool. But yeah, she's incredible.
That's
I don't know if
amazing.
you ever did a deep dive on her, but
No, I think I should after that. That was so,
yeah.
I mean, just one, there's so many amazing nuggets in there. Also, my mom loves the song Defying Gravity. So we have another Wicked fan in the house, Mom. I guess 2.
Yes.
It's a great song. She always plays it. But the first thing was with the Christina Aguilera. One of the words you said was the versatility of each song, which is kind of like what you try and do.
Yeah.
So I see that parallel. Second, I was like, they inspire you back in the day, and I was like, what is it like now? And then you just said that you sent the DM to Stephanie. So it's like there's connective tissue. It's a full story.
It was like a very full circle moment for me.
Love that.
Because when I first watched her, I was 8. I'm 24 now. That's almost 20 years ago,
And it's still there. That's like, it's potent.
Yeah.
And that was a great answer. Thank you. And I can tell that there's so much passion behind that. And that's exactly what I want here. So now I know that there's a lot of different moments that you've had working with people. And I would imagine that one of your favorite moments is in your young career was working with T-Boz and Chili from TLC. And it's cliche to ask, what did you learn by working with them? But more importantly, what advice would you give a young musician who steps into the room with one of their idols? Like how should they act? What does it feel like, and how should it be, would you say?
Okay. I learned so much in the short amount of time that I was with them. Like, there's a reason why they've had careers as long as they have. And I saw that because of their professionalism. They came on time. They came prepared. They didn't come high or drunk or you know what I mean?
Exactly,
like it's like
it's like a job. Like
they knew the song, they knew the lyrics, and they just attacked it. And I feel like to have a long lasting career, you have to be serious about it, and you have to be professional, and you have to do the work, and you have to put in the training and all that. And I feel like that's what a lot of artists now are lacking, is that artist development, and they're lazy.
Yeah, I think it's also
Right.
I think just the idea of like social media and TikTok is like just the idea of something going viral and then you have all this stuff is like, I think a lot of the artists back in the day had to work for it. You're right, they were
Yeah.
trained.
I mean,
it wasn't given.
just because of how oversaturated it is now, and anybody can release music, they just have to pay yearly through like distro. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, but back in the day, you had to have talent. You had to have a manager. You had to get an agent. You had to get scouted. You needed a label to release music. But now, because it's so easy, and yeah, you know, the formula is always going to change. Like, the industry is ever evolving, but I do think that there are still certain things that will forever stay true, and that I feel like everybody just wants to go viral now, and everybody wants to have that viral moment. But does viral equal longevity? I don't think so. I think and people are always like, just churn out songs, but is it quality what you're churning out? Because if it's not, people aren't gonna listen to it.
Or they'll listen once.
Exactly. Yeah.
And your stream per listener will be like 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you want that devoted fan base that's coming back, you know, as a songwriter, like dissecting the lyrics, doing brackets about the album, like you know, like really like digesting it, and it's true. It's something that I deal with. I would imagine everyone deals with. It's like the balance of being a entertainer and being a musician, because you know you have to put out content, but you have to have that balance. So,
did that answer the question?
No, but like at the same time, I think it kind of, you know, it does. Like, you know, I asked like, what advice would you give?
Well, it does.
So
That is my advice. Like, don't be lazy.
Exactly. Like,
be
that's what you learn from them.
Like, you know, we were talking earlier, like, being on time is such a big thing, because if people see that you're reliable, they're gonna want to work with you more.
100%. It's the same thing like with like, they listen to the song once, they'll work with you once if you're not reliable.
Right.
But like, you know, like you build a relationship off of like respect and like consistency.
Exactly.
And you know, just like being on time. And it's true. It's like sometimes I was saying off camera, is like being late sometimes is a little selfish, and it's like a control thing. And so no, it's very congruent. We feel the same way about that. Now I want to talk about the EP because it was fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you had your release party, and I'm sorry I missed it, but
all good.
I was you know, I have all the songs downloaded, and I do love that, you know, Love You More was written when you were 17.
Ages ago, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's your mom's favorite song. And with regards to each song on this EP, do you view them as like a time capsule for specific emotions and moments in your life? And could you be specific about any of them?
I mean, I do write from experience, so a lot of these songs were significant when I was writing it. I mean, they still are, obviously, like, it matters to me, but I don't know if that makes sense. Like, they are kind of a time capsule as to where I was, like, when I was writing it. Like, Love You More is just, I feel like it's so innocent and bubblegum, and that makes sense because I was 17.
Yeah.
You know, and then Slow It Down is like definitely more mature and sensual, and that makes sense because I just wrote that, you know? So yes.
It makes sense. Yeah, like it's so funny, especially like as an artist. I remember like I used to like read stuff that I read like 4 years ago. I was like, whoa, like I didn't even remember feeling like that, but I clearly felt like that in that moment. So I think one of the not talked about benefits of being a musician is that we have time machines, and we're allowed to go back to a feeling and emotion. Hopefully they're good, not bad. You know, and then you go there. So this one's gonna be a little tougher for you, and in a good way, but I want you to describe Up to You in 3 words or less.
Up to You in 3 words or less. The project or the song?
Yeah, like the project. What does the EP mean? Yeah. Give her a second, guys. I was thinking.
Okay, like in terms of like the project or me, like what I.
It's like describe Yeah, I would say the project.
Okay, I would say it's very inviting. It's sweet and
I know it's tough to put you on the spot. I was thinking about this for like my projects. I'm like, how would I respond to this?
No, I can definitely come up with one more word.
Yeah,
Hold
no,
on.
you're good with
It's
your words.
inviting, it's sweet, and
Thank you for giving this thought.
it's real.
Boom. That's great. So for everyone out there, that's a small window into what you'd be listening to, and I highly recommend you listen to it. And I want to ask, so which song off this EP would fit the vibe for a music video that was shot at either the Stall House in LA or Apartment A in Phoenix?
Ooh, the Stall House. That's the case study house, right?
Yeah, I know that you love that. Like, I know like you love like retro futurism.
I'm big architecture gal. Will always be watching Arch Digest. Probably Fade Away.
Would fit that like
Probably.
aesthetic of like
Probably Fade Away, cause Fade Away was very retro sounding. We did like a lot of like the 80s sounding drums on it. Like it's like kind of like a Prince vibe. So I would say Fade Away.
great. I know. It's so funny when I was doing that research and I saw that I was like, I actually love retro futurism too. I think it's so interesting, and it's like such like not even like it should be a popular aesthetic, but it's kind of niche for some reason. I feel like. But so I love that you had that, and I think it'd be fun for you to put that in a music video. So
oh my gosh, you know how many times I've reached out to them and I'm like, hey, like I actually just want to know like how much would it cost? No response.
Yeah,
they never got.
Just
back
keep
to
going.
me.
I mean, like
because it's not on like a Pure Space. Or,
yeah,
it's not on any of that.
It's I mean, I would try and use that too. It's so sick. I was looking at it today, guys. You should look it up.
Beautiful, but they do tours.
Like. So just take like a GoPro and just do a bootleg.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those answers. I really appreciate that. That was a great insight into who you are. Now let's go back to the music that you love. So we're going to go on to, we're back at the board, guys. We're going to go to the next matchup, which is the 3 versus 6, which is Pusher Love Girl or Strawberry Bubblegum.
Strawberry Bubblegum.
Break it down for me, please.
And I actually was listening to this while I was getting ready this morning because I was like, okay, I haven't listened to this album in a while. I said it was my favorite, so I need a refresher. And one of the things that I loved about Strawberry Bubblegum is it's a very simple song. And I feel like there's a lot going on in the entire album, and you need those like 1 or 2 songs that make it just very, you know what I mean? I don't know if that feeling like
yeah, like relief.
Yeah, like it's just like, oh, okay, easy to listen to, and it's like a very repetitive song. Like the hook is literally just Strawberry Bubblegum, like says it a few times, and I think that's cute, you know, because it's very lyrically dense. I want to say the rest of the album, and a lot of the songs are past the 4 or 5 minute mark. Like they go to like 7-8 minutes, like a few of these records. So I think it's just like one of those like records that you can just like, you know.
Yeah, there's beauty and simplicity.
Yeah,
and like it should be celebrated. Everything doesn't need to be a magnum opus.
Yeah,
so and I love that.
That's how I feel about that.
Awesome
record.
Strawberry Bubblegum, great answer.
But I do love Pusher Love Girl.
I know. I
do too, because that's the first.
Exactly,
first
it's the intro.
Record. Yeah, it is great, but you know. I do love Strawberry Bubblegum.
Yeah, you know, it's the point of the show is to put your favorite album. So I know you're gonna love each song. That's why it gets you to talk about it, which is great. Awesome. So now we're gonna end the first round, guys, with Tunnel Vision versus That Girl.
That Girl.
Instantly.
That Girl.
That Girl. Why?
I mean,
because it's That Girl.
It's That Girl. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I just love the record.
Yeah.
I just love it.
I love how she answered. It sounded good too. I was instantly just like falling into that, and like that it should be. Sometimes it takes people a long time, but again, it's music. It's a feeling. Like if you feel it, just go for it.
Yeah.
So awesome. So we finished the first round. We have the big upset, Let the Groove Get In. We have some incredible other tracks that have been making, waves going forward. So really quick now, I kind of want to go back and I want to promote this song, Slow It Down, for Tiana. So instead of just having you kind of talk about the track, please stream it, by the way. Whole EP, it's incredible. But Slow It Down specifically, kind of going back to what I did with like the 3 words, I want you to describe who the target audience for that track would be without describing the song. Like, who would like that song?
Who would like that song?
Yeah.
Real R&B fans.
Awesome. Why?
Just because when I was writing it, I was like, you know, I've never really sampled a record, and I really wanted to. So when I was working with Lainey, who produced it, and we were listening to the beat, there were 3 songs that came in my mind. It was Slow Down, Bobby V, and it was Lay It Down, Lloyd, and I think, was it Bed? Like, I'ma put you in bed. Those were the 3 songs that I was like, okay, I feel like sonically it would make sense. Eventually, I thought Slow Down made the most sense, and so I started writing the hook. Slow down, I just wanna get to know ya. But obviously I wanted to put my own words into it, so I kept the first line the same, but I still kept the melody the same, but I changed the words. And then I ended up writing the rest of the song. Initially, it was just me. I have a version where it's just me. And then I went into like a studio session like the following week. And I was just playing my stuff to some producers just so they know where I'm at sonically. And one of the producers, Lonnie, he was like, has Bobby heard that? And I was like, no, like, because like I never intended for anyone to be in it. I was just like writing it to write, you know? And he's like, can you send it to me? And so I sent it to Lonnie, and Lonnie sent it to Bobby. And Bobby was like, I want to hop on it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out Bobby V.
So that's literally how it happened. And I feel like Bobby V was one of like, he was one of the biggest R&B guys, you know, especially in like the early 2000s. And he still is, you know, people know that song everywhere. And so I really wanted to make something for like the real R&B fans, and for the if you know people, you know what I mean? Yeah,
no, definitely. I think shout out Bobby V. That's a sick feature to have, and just it fits like a glove, so I'm happy that you throw him on.
Yeah, it made sense, you know. After hearing him cut the record, I was like, well, the song's done, you know what I mean, let's release it. And the whole process was so seamless. He's such a nice guy. And I'm so blessed to be able to, you know, have a feature with him. I really am.
I think, first of all, that was awesome. And just the sample, it's so true. Like being an artist, like it's so sick to sample. And like, but obviously it's expensive, and like it has to fit the narrative correctly and everything. So I'm happy that worked out for you. Now, can you describe the song to me, like if it was a meal?
If it was a meal?
Yeah.
Spicy.
Got it. What else?
For
like,
sure.
So like a spicy, like what type of food then? Like what spicy food?
Ooh, I don't know. It's definitely like, I don't know. For me, it's like spicy, but something that's like easy to eat. So like soup.
Boom. Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be like wings, because that's like
it's like dirty. It's
yeah,
like messy. Yeah.
It would be It's like spicy because it's easy to eat, because it's easy to listen to. I want to say, I guess you could say spicy. Like you definitely want to go for seconds.
Like that's good.
You know, because I mean the record makes me feel good, you know, and I listen to it, you know, more than once, obviously. So I want more, you know, I want seconds. One more word. Dang.
You killed it with the spicy bowl of soup. I like that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
shout out.
Spicy, and
except, but I like the
more,
because it's all exactly, and I like the idea of like the soup being it's easy to eat.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be like the wings, or it's like, you know, exactly like the wings are just like messy on your hand.
And too, if you think about it, like you can have soup with either just a spoon or just sipping it from the bowl. It's easy. You know what I mean?
That's
like
a great answer. That was creative. It works out. Yeah, it's a fun.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's like it's fun. It's fun to do it like that.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Guys, please listen to Slow It Down featuring Bobby V. We're going to link all the socials, obviously, in the bio for Spotify, everywhere you listen to podcasts, plus YouTube. Please listen to that. Whole EP is amazing. Now, let's go back to another incredible collection of songs, just like Up to You EP. Going back here. So now we're going to do semifinal round 1. Let the Groove Get In versus That Girl. Which song do you think goes on?
That Girl.
Oh, so That Girl's a strong one. So why do you think it's... I know you've kind of already described it, but between these two, what made you instantly go to that? Like, why do you think it's a stronger song in your opinion? Or what do you like about it more?
When you, like, That Girl had that JT and the Tennessee Kids, like, little intro. Like, it's very visual. Like, the song, when listening to it, I can see it. As opposed to Let the Groove Get In, it's just like a feeling for me. Like, I'm just like, but yeah, That Girl over Let the Groove Get In.
Perfect. That's a great answer to that.
I also think it's like easier to sing.
And you're a singer.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
I love that. So That Girl's going on.
Yep.
Sorry, Let the Groove Get In. Cinderella Story done. That Girl's moving on to the finals. Now we're going Suit and Tie versus Strawberry Bubblegum.
Suit and Tie.
Oh, okay. So we have the two different sides of the bracket. So now break it down again. Those are both great songs. Why did you gravitate Suit and Tie?
Because I want to say there is more versatility with Suit and Tie. It starts off a certain way and it ends very different with the breakdown, and I like that. It's like a journey. And I don't think the Strawberry Bubblegum had that, because it's one of, like I said, one of the more like...
It's a palate cleanser. It's easy.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that was a great answer too. And like, it's funny because the art's subjective, but I'm making you like put them against each other like it's a sport. So thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Makes sense. Suit and Tie. So guys, we have the final. It's That Girl versus Suit and Tie. Before we do that though, we have the opportunity right now. We're going to perform Why Live for Later, which is our track.
Yes.
It's one of the singles from my debut mixtape, Time Is On Our Side, which will drop end of the year, hopefully.
Yes.
No, well, end of the year. I can't say the day yet because can't do that. But so just give us a second. We're going to dive right into this and we're going to do a live performance. This is the first time I've actually been able to do a live performance on this. So thank you for letting me do it.
Let's kill it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, you ready for this? Let's rip it. Vibe Call West Radio, Why Live for Later, GRANDVIEW featuring Tiana Kocher. Thank you guys for tuning in. You hear my voice change, that's just how I rap, I'm sorry. One time, yeah. Strong survivors and honest take. Honest humans have treasure traits. Treasure time on a watcher's face. Watch faces age and morale fade. Though one, my pen is strong enough for trauma to sing along to my young label with lost cause. Mixed drug addict and watch jog. So my scattered goals and shattered hopes have found a home. My worst vices, solo sinning, hidden habits, secret binges, but happy hours, power grinning, and after hours, bag sniffing. View my views of I call West, spawned in the city where the sun rests. Tomorrow's trending and future focus. I'm the present prince of leaving the moment to escape now. Cause we all wish for better days, having freedoms cause of fortune, cause you fuck you money paid.
So long I've been afraid, I'm known as vulnerable. Come close and ease my pain, I need an honest soul. If this my glory fade, you make it double, audible. Puppies loving hellish holes. Why live for later? You have to live for now. Why live for later? You have to live for now. Why live for later? You have to live for now. Why live for later? You have to live for now.
Pride's not opposite of shame, but its source, of course, it was born the day. Less than mood appeared in you, no self-worth the human way. Keyboard saw these Wi-Fi wars meant for escapes and now degrades, but know that trolls and mind of the martyrs both shed blood the same. The mood of me is to isolate and instant internet hideaways. I virtue bait and hurt you hate. Hurt you first so I'm safe. Clouds fake, but so am I. 21st century misery live. My 20s energy, salary survive on minimum wage with minimum drive. An awful sound, and it's combining with this modern crowd. My whining's such an awful sound, and it's combining with this modern crowd.
So long I've been afraid, I'm known as vulnerable. Come close and ease the pain, I need an honest soul. If this my glory fade, you make it double, audible. Companies loving hellish holes. Why live for later? You have to live for now. Why live for later? You have to live for now. Why live for later? You have to live for now. Why live for later? You have to live for now.
I'm known as vulnerable. All right, Kaden, we're good right there. Yo, amazing job, Tiana. Thank you so much. That was fucking awesome. Shout out Kaden for working that entire thing for us. That is Too Late for Us. That is Why Live for Later. I'm extremely proud of that one and just how it came together. So thank you so much. And now, guys,
easy.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then to end now on a high note.
Yes.
Because that was a high note. This is an even higher note. Let's go to the board and figure out what the best song in 2020 by Justin Timberlake is. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So it is That Girl versus Suit and Tie.
That Girl.
Boom. That it makes sense. You were so strong about that one every single time.
Yeah. I mean, like, I had a feeling if you were going to ask me what my favorite album was, there's obviously a favorite song. And I just don't. Like, That Girl is just...
Because you're that girl. It may, you know, it also is like the perfect audience for that. And it's your choice and it's your song. And I'm happy that you feel passionate about it. So you've done this for me. You've done the whole bracket. You've answered my questions. You've sung a song with me. I would like to give you the opportunity now to plug anything, say what you're doing the rest of the year, anything in between. The camera's right there.
I mean, my second EP, Up to You, is now out on all streaming platforms. So it'd be super awesome if y'all could go stream it, add it to your playlist. And of course, you can follow me at Tiana Kocher everywhere. That is TianaKocher. And be on the lookout for more new music because I am doing one more release before the year is over. So. Ooh. That one's going to be a fun one.
You heard it here first. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. She's not just an incredible singer, amazing professional, great person. Please go support her. Thank you guys all for tuning into A Vibe Called West Radio. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.